So we're joined from Jacksonville, Florida by 2021 Velma Jackson graduate, member of the Velma Jackson Hall of Fame, Ole Miss alum, and one of our greatest students to come through in recent years, Joseph Sharp. This is our first guest of the semester for our college career readiness. I've got a room full here at your alma mater, Velma Jackson, and we're recording this for all of our friends in Madison County Schools, Rosa Scott, Madison Central, Ridgeland High School, Germantown High School, the Academic Options Center, and our YouTube channel. So thanks for fitting us in your schedule today.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, so we obviously want to talk about we want to talk about your experience at Ole Miss and why you chose Ole Miss, and we want to talk about your experience now as a full-time career. But just tell us about your Velma Jackson experience. I've got all ninth and 10th graders with me here now. You made the most of the time you were here. You were involved in a lot of things, even despite COVID. So talk about all the things you did at Velma Jackson that kind of shaped and helped you get ready for those next steps.
Yeah, just coming from Velma, we off in the country, but we got to make the best of what we got. So, me being in JROTC, getting that kind of discipline already from that, then being with the basketball team and everything like that, it helped kind of build a solid foundation for me. And then just in the dual enrollment program, if y'all can get in that, y'all have the chance to. I highly recommend doing that. It'll definitely be good for when you get to college. You'll have a head start on that already. But just being able to do all those things, that compilation of things, it really, I feel like that put me in a good spot when I first went to Ole Miss. And yeah, just utilizing all those tactics, especially from pocket, going TSA and everything like that, like that played a big factor in that. So
Awesome. And you did a great job here, like we said, member of the Velma Jackson Hall of Fame when you graduated in 2021. And then you went to Ole Miss. So talk about the process of choosing that college because obviously we got a lot of great schools here, got a lot of great community colleges. But you and a couple of our of other alums around that time all went to Ole Miss. So talk about the choosing of Ole Miss and what maybe kids don't understand about when you get there, you are the little fish in the ocean. The very, very large community, but it really is what the initiative you take to get the most out of it.
yeah, for sure. He, I didn't want to. It's nothing wrong with staying near the area and everything like that. But me personally, I just wanted to branch out. So that's why I kind of chose Ole Miss. Honestly, too, they gave me the most money. Honestly, so they played a part too. But honestly, when I got there and when I toured and everything, I'm like, this campus is it's big, it's nice. I'm like, yeah, I feel like I can make my strides here. Then when I got there, I got involved off the rip. Literally before I even got there, I got involved in this program called Grove Scholars, and it allowed me to get there early. I got there in the summer before that fall semester started, and I got to take two classes, got to get familiar with the campus and everything like that. So being able to do that, that played a big part. And then from that, because I'm not gonna lie, in college, that's your best time to build all your connections. Like that's the best time. That's when you're gonna meet the most people. That's when you're gonna do a lot of soul searching. That's when you're gonna figure out yourself in times like that too. From that, I got involved in basketball. After that, I was a scout team slash manager for the basketball team. I did that, and that just allowed me to branch off into a total bunch of different organizations from BSU, that's our Black Student Association. I was involved in ASB, that's our Associated Student Body. I ended up joining a fraternity as well. So all of that kind of stuff, it played a big part into making my college career what it was. And I was very involved, that I was always busy doing something. So, but I still always made time to, focus in on my academics too. So
Well, it does a great job of that, of learning how to manage tasks. Because if you're the person that just goes to college to just get the grades, you're not going to get the most out of it. Because
no,
obviously the grades are extremely important, but you've got to build your network. Because they say it's not what you know, it's who you know. But I take it one step farther. It's not who you know, it's who knows you. So you have to make a name for yourself no matter where you go. And it really is about building that network, finding things within your major, within your community, to branch off and find people that are like-minded, that are professionals that you can use to advance your own career.
exactly, exactly. Just really, and then on top of that, you want to utilize those resources that you end up finding. You never know like what conversation can have on your life. just engaging in conversation with different people, seeing where they from, seeing what you can provide to them, what they can provide to you. You know, that's the biggest thing. Because you never know how long, down the line that you'll meet that person. Like, oh yeah, like I knew this person then. Okay, let me help this person now. So it's really like Poggy says, not more so who it's but taking the next step farther too. So
Uh, Absolutely. Now, obviously, you mentioned the fraternity, and we have a lot of kids interested in NPHC organizations. And with it being Founders Day of Alpha Kappa Alpha, we've got some teachers decked out in their pink and green here. Miss Taylor, um, uh, of course, and her Founders Day apparel, and she should because they're a great organization. But we have a lot of kids. I've had a lot of young men say they want to be Qs. They want to be Omegas, like our man Coach Scott here at Velma Jackson, and me and you's friend Coach Martin. Big shout out to KO Martin, done at Callaway High now. So, but and everybody sees the strutting, everybody sees the stepping, everybody sees the colors and all that. And all that is so much fun. I always say the fun fact about me is I actually judged a step show before. And everybody's like, "Can you step?" I'm like, "No, but I can tell you if it's good or not." So
yeah,
it really is a lot of fun. And that's the part everybody sees. But there is so much behind the scenes that I don't. And this is for not just for Omega Psi Phi, for any MPHC organization. There's a lot of academic requirements. You have to have a high GPA. You have to make sure your community service is on point before you even join. And then these organizations are all about community service. Omega Psi Phi has a huge scholarship that they provide for Madison County School students every year. And unfortunately, a lot of the times it goes unclaimed. There's scholarship, there's business networking, there's a ton of community service. Some of it doesn't even get seen because it's not about being known for it. It's about doing it. So, talk about some of the things in these fraternities and sororities that look. We encourage these kids to join them if they're at a place that has these chapters. By all means, it can be a great experience for you, but they need to understand the reality of what these organizations are about.
yeah, for sure. Like Pocket said, a lot of people see the outside stuff, so the strolling, the step shows, all that good stuff, and that's definitely a big part of what we do. But for one, I always think like I told my neos when I brought them out, your true reasons for joining are always gonna show. So if you join for the wrong reasons, if you join and be that person that's always at the parties, that's always strolling this, that, and the third, it's gonna show. So you always want to join for the right reasons first off, and then for two, you want to join to make an impact. Because with the like Pocket said, for one, your grades got to be up to par. If you're like, for instance, at Ole Miss, if your GPA is under 2.7, it's over. You can't get
Wow.
in. It's not gonna happen. Nah, not even gonna look at your application for real, honestly. If I'm being honest, but for that's for one, and then for two, your community service hours got to already be on point. You need to already be engaging in that before you even join, because it's a little different when you join and you having chapter meetings. You maybe was at a party the day before, and you got to be up at 7 a.m. to do this, that, and the third for community service. So it's a little different. So you already got to have that balance of knowing how to do this and then going to community service and then keeping your grades up at the same time. Because like I said, the GPA requirement is a thing, and they constantly check that. I promise you, they constantly check that. But like I said, it's a great thing to join though. It's a beautiful thing when you utilize it the proper ways. Like I
Absolutely.
just moved out here about 4 months ago now. I'm still new out here, and I've already met up with some old brothers out here, and they basically done welcome me already. You have that. It's kind of like you have that safety net when you join. No matter where you go, it's somebody that's gonna be, in that fraternity or sorority with you, and it's like, oh yeah, I already have somebody. Just when you see the same colors, you see those letters, it's like, okay, I know I can go talk to that person. I know I got somebody. So really utilizing that. And then to me, because at first, I'm not gonna lie, when I first got to Ole Miss, I wasn't interested in Greek at all. I was like, I don't know anything about it. My family's not really Greek. Like, why would I join? Then I did my research. That's the biggest thing. Do your research. See the notable people we have. And not just the celebrities. See the doctors and the trendsetters and things like that. Like for instance, we have Dr. Charles R. Drew did one of the first blood transfusions. Without him, that wouldn't be a possible thing. So seeing that, that's the big things you want to look for, I mean, they are pretty like Shaq, looking at people like that, still make a big impact, but you really want to dive deeper into, the research and the history of it. And for me, it was just seeing the impact you can have, especially like my first real like, okay, yeah, I knew I chose the right thing was we were doing the Easter egg community service, and we did a march for the kids and just seeing how their faces lit up, and then coming up to us after like one little boy, he was like, I want to be like you. And that was like, okay, yeah, like
That's
this,
awesome.
yeah, I'm doing the right thing. Just you never know the impact you can have on people just from little things, like we'll do drives sometimes we give out books and stuff like that. You never know like how intrigued certain people are because we get so content with the things that we have that we lose sight of the things that a lot of people don't have. Like
That's awesome.
at Velma, we like with a lot of stuff we have, we blessed to have. There's a lot of schools out here that don't have that.
Yeah.
So taking advantage of that kind of stuff and then being able to utilize it and give it back is one of the biggest things you can do. And that's one of the biggest things you want to have and that mentality you want to have, especially when you interested in NPHC. And like Parker said, all the excess stuff, the hop and the stroke, yeah, that's fun. It really is. I love doing it. When I did my first step show, I was overly nervous, but it turned out good. So it's a great thing. It's really a great thing. But like I said, the biggest thing with that, doing your research, figure out
Yeah.
what's for you. Because it's a lifetime commitment. You don't want to join anything that you want to have speculation on or things of that nature. So
Awesome. Well, before I get to their questions, I do want to talk about your new transition out to Jacksonville, Florida, because I have kids all the time tell me they want to move to Florida, they want to move to Texas, they want to move to California, they want to move to Atlanta, and I'm always like, okay, do you have a plan? Because it's not just let me move out here and then figure it out. It takes
oh,
planning and it takes a lot of organization to be in these type places. Because you graduated from Ole Miss with a degree in exercise science, and now you're working in a chiropractor clinic and working on your master's at UAB, and really want to get into getting your NCSC. Is that what it is?
so
Certification to
yeah, my NSCA. Mm-hmm.
yeah, NSCA. I'm sorry, NSCA certification to move into the personal training space. So, talk about how this plan kind of happened to be in a large city like Jacksonville, because this is a heck of a lot bigger than Camden. Heck, it's a heck of a lot bigger than Jackson, Mississippi. To be in a major U.S. city, being in this field, and kind of finding your place. Because whether you go to college or not, this is a transition everybody's got to make, and it's not a magic trick. You don't just snap your fingers and say, "Hey, I'm here." It takes planning, it takes organization, it takes hard work. So, just take us through that process.
Yeah. So for me, I was always thinking of what I'm gonna do after college. That's like was my thing for the longest. Like, where can I, continue to grow after this? And I was just looking around trying to do some research, and then but before I even graduated, I got offered this job out here, so that was a blessing in itself. But still doing my research, and I was like, okay, I want to go somewhere different. So I already had some money put up aside and everything like that. That's another thing. Make sure you utilize your financial resources for sure. Especially when y'all get to college and y'all start getting those refund checks and everything like that. Y'all bound to spend them. Don't. It's okay to splurge a little bit here and there. So it's okay, but you wanna take the smart route. Think about the bigger picture. So but yeah, for me, with this job offering out here and everything like that, and luckily too, I had a couple of family members that stayed out here, so I wasn't
Oh,
complete
cool.
just by myself. But that all worked out. But I attacked the head on. I came out here with the mentality, I'm gonna make this my new Mississippi. Like I'm familiar with Mississippi. I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing here. I'm gonna get myself out. I'm gonna do this, that, and the third, and I'm gonna, take all the opportunities I can get. And being out here, it's definitely brought some opportunities. Ended up running into the strength and conditioning coach for the Jaguars in the same fraternity as me. So me and him been, chopping it up and everything like that. So you always want to go in with an open mind. It's so much stuff out there. It really is. Like me, like for instance, I be telling some of my patients all the time, I'm like, I was excited to see a Wawa. I've never seen a Wawa in Mississippi. I was like, okay, man, like even though that's something small, it's like, we're such in that smaller mindset from what we're accustomed to being in the country. We don't we gotta really think broad. You know, there's so much out here for us to get, and we gotta have that mentality to go get it. We gotta always be ready for the next opportunity. Always looking to expand on your personal skills and everything. So
Love it. Well, I do have some questions. I'm gonna get to as many of these as I can. This first one is Kyla Chambers. She's in 10th grade, one of our volleyball players here. And she asked, how did you choose your major at Ole Miss and what was the dorm life like?
yeah, so what's crazy is like I say, you gonna do a lot of soul searching when you get to college. When I first went, I was like, okay, I want to go to med school. I want to be anesthesiologist. I went in as a biology major. I'm like, I'm going pre-med. I'm doing this. I'm like, I'm stuck on it. I took my first biology class. I was like, absolutely not. I won't do this. I was like, no. But yeah, that's the good thing with college. You can. That's really where you find you. So then I ended up changing my major to exercise science, and I loved it. Just all the stuff I learned just from how the body reacts to exercise, how it physiologically moves, and everything like that. I loved it. And on the dorm life, it was great. Like I love the dorm life. My roommate was actually Kevin McKinnon's pocket. Me and him, we roomed
Uh,
together.
uh,
Yeah.
Older brother of our friend Chloe Luckett here at Velma Jackson. Been trying to get him on here as well. And I know he also majored in exercise science with you, so it was good to have him there. And big shout out to him. We got to get him on the platform as well.
Oh yeah.
This is Javarius Morrison. He's in 10th grade, ninth grade or 10th grade? Ninth grade. I'm sorry, I got it wrong. But he asked, did you like everything about Ole Miss while you were there?
Uh, yeah, I did. The only thing I didn't like was the parking on campus. I hated parking on
Oh
campus.
man, you're gonna have
Man,
that everywhere.
hated it. Oh my goodness, I hated it. But that's because me, I didn't like taking the bus personally. That's just me. So I like to drive my car. But other than that, man, I feel like I was spoiled at Ole Miss from basketball to all the organizations I was in. I kind of feel like I had it pretty good. So like, and then I'm not gonna lie, the Ole Miss. If y'all I'm kind of bragging on Ole Miss, but if y'all do go, we got some of the best housing, some of the best food you'll get. And then Oxford just it's a real small place, but it's so much to do. So
Awesome. Well, I got time for two more.
oh yeah.
They didn't put a name on this one. Um, what has been the most challenging part of your journey? It's Joshua Williamson.
Most challenging part. I'll probably say the most challenging part is this is one thing with college. There's nobody telling you what to do.
There
Like
you
you
go.
don't have to wake up to go to class if you don't want to. You don't have to. All that stuff is like a lot of times your professors don't tell you on the first day. It's optional for you to come because it is. They gonna get paid regardless. They don't have to tell you to come in, all this, that, and the third. And it's really putting yourself in that mindset that, oh, although I know I don't have to go, it's gonna hurt me way more in the long run than so those nights where it's 12, 1, 2 a.m. and you still up trying to get a paper ready for the next day, still making sure you getting in that work to make up and wake up the next morning, still get to class, still doing this, that, and the third. Really learning how to balance that work, that school, and that social life. I feel like that was the biggest thing for me at first. Because I was involved in so much stuff and I still had to figure out how to balance all of this stuff from organizations from the frat, from basketball, and then still prioritizing, my work at the same time. Sometimes you may lose a little bit of sleep. You might. I'm not gonna lie to you, but the big thing is, you sacrifice now so you don't have to later. You know, so
All right, now before I get to this last question, I do want to get because I think it's important that you're in a medical type field and you're going to continue to be in that. But even though it is science and medical based, there's a lot of customer service, there's a lot of communication involved, and I also think it's important for people wanting to get into these medical fields of any sort. You're going to have to touch people, you're going to have to smell things, you're going to have to look at things, because everybody sees medical field as easy money, but there's a lot to it. But that leads me into this question. This is Caitlin Beal. She's
mhm.
in ninth grade, wants to be a nurse. She's also the little sister of our friend Kyron Jobe, of basketball fame here at Velma Jackson. So, but she asked, why did you choose to work in the chiropractor field? And is there another field that if you wanted to work in while you're getting your master's, what would that be?
So for one, chiropractic is one of the few forms of natural medicine that we do have. So that's one thing. I just love like the overall like philosophy behind it. You know, it's not as invasive as all the other things that we have. Um, but another, what was the second part of that question? Another field
Uh,
to,
if you want to, if was there another field that you consider working in while you're getting your master's in the medical field?
yeah, yeah, for sure. So like Poggy mentioned earlier, I'm actually getting my certification right now, and that's more so geared to the strength and conditioning field. So that's primarily what I'm kind of going into. But it's so many realms that you can dive into. You can go into athletic training, you can go into PT, you can go into teaching if you want. Like you can go into like pharmacy. Like it's so many different things that you can work yourself into. And then a lot of these times jobs are looking for like upcoming people, you know, people who just graduated, people who are going to graduate, you know. And it's so many things that you can get into within the like this overall. That's why I chose exercise science too, because it spans into so many different things, you know, that you can utilize and work into. So it's so many different things you can, you know, use.
Awesome. Well, we're almost out of time, and we thank you so much for taking some time for us. But before we go, I ask every alum this, and look, I know I speak for so many people. We are so proud to call you an alum of Velma Jackson. It's just amazing the things you're doing. But you know, you were walking these same halls, growing up in the same community, sitting in these same classrooms with a lot of these same teachers, and yet you became what we've always said that this community is able to do. So these kids in the same place that you were, how can they become just as successful as someone like you?
Yeah, it's I feel like it's totally your mindset, you know. Don't look at don't let your environment, you know, be end all be all. You know, like where Camden is, let's be honest, it's not much. But you know, that don't have to always be that don't have to be your environment forever. You know, like grow out of that. Have that mentality. Oh, I'm gonna get out of here. I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna expand. Like Pocket said, a lot of people want to move and do this, do it. You know, have the mentality to do it. Have the mentality to put your eggs in the basket, you know, and get them ready to really do those things that y'all aspire to do. You know, like it's a lot out here. It's so many different opportunities and ways to make money and ways to just expand on you. You know, and utilize your resources. You know, utilize the teachers. You know, utilize the things they teach you. You know, they wouldn't it took me a while to look back and be like, okay, like this is why they said this, or this is why they said that. You know, like they wouldn't steer you wrong. So, you know, really utilizing all of that kind of stuff, you know, and then investing in yourself, you know, whether it's reading, whether it's learning a new skill, whether it's this, you know, you your biggest asset. You're always gonna be your biggest asset. So investing in yourself is the best way for you to put yourself out here into this world and have other people see, you know, what they see, you know, when us like the teacher saw in us, you know, like being able to do all of that kind of stuff, you know, it's really hand in hand with each other. So
Love it. Well, I know you got to get back to it. We thank you so much for fitting this in your schedule. All the way from Jacksonville, Florida, Joseph Sharp, member of the Velma Jackson Hall of Fame. Thank you so much for joining us today.
sir, thank you.
I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yes, sir.
See ya.